We know it was a rough Friday night. The girl you wanted to talk to didn't want anything to do with you. The bottom shelf liquor didn't agree with you. You forgot to put a liner in the garbage can by your bed. You
All
forgot
hell broke loose.
You forgot to buy some carpet cleaner.
And you forgot that you ate a handful of maraschino cherries and you think your guts are all over.
Lord. Wow, you had to go there. He's the conquistador, Dave White.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane. Hey, that's from experience of a buddy of mine.
Oh, Lord. I was going to say, it sounds like Slow Gin Fizzes, maybe. It's time for the weekend edition, of course, your Saturday morning hangover cure here on February the 4th, 2023, taping on February the 1st. And of course, as always, man, we have got a lot to talk about this weekend.
It's a lot of music.
Lots of TV and streaming when it comes to the DC universe as well. But we'll get to that later. For now, Dave and I have 4 brand new songs to review. I will let Dave lead the way.
Let us begin with Metallica's second track off the new album, Screaming Suicide. So this one, I don't know, it's there, it rocks, it's got the vibe. I kind of thought it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air from Metallica. Something not quite on the beaten path. I enjoyed this one. You hated it, didn't you?
No. Don't do that. Don't put words in my podcast mouth. No. I am not a old school Metallica fan. Let's start with this.
Okay.
So the people that get mad because the newer Metallica stuff, whether it's Hardwired to Self-Destruct or Death Magnetic, they get mad because it's not Kill 'Em All, man. Well, it's never going to be Kill 'Em All, okay? And of course, the turning point was the Black Album, because that's when they became more accessible, more, if you want to say, radio friendly, which is when I got into them more. Now, I'd listened to them before. I'd listened to Master of Puppets. So I was a little bit into Metallica before the Black Album, but that seems to be the turning point for everybody.
Yeah, that's their mainstream album.
Right.
Whereas Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All.
Right. That's the hardcore old school Metallica fans. So,
and that's what I started out on.
I have gone down kind of a different path with Metallica, whereas I love the Black Album, but I really, really got into Saint Anger, where everybody kind of ripped into that album. I thought it was very creative, different. It was kind of like what a band like U2 was trying to do with Zooropa or Pop, but actually for me, that succeeded. And of course, they did the documentary about how they were going through therapy as a group and all that crap. But after that, I hate to say it, but Metallica has come off more as a cookie cutter band to me. They've never been able to recapture the anger of Master of Puppets. They've never been able to bring back the fire, the fierceness, the overall massive energy of those albums. And again, just like with Lux Eterna, the first release off 72 Seasons, I feel the same way kind of with Screaming Suicide, where it's fine, it's okay, I like it, but I don't love it. It's got a nice beat dick, but I can't dance to it.
I'm giving it a 3.
I can't. No, I can't go there. I give it a 2. I can't.
Ouch.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I've been getting into Lux Eterna more. So maybe
A few
I need
more,
to listen to even
to
more,
it a
even
little
though I've
bit
listened
more.
to Screaming Suicide at least half a dozen times.
It may grow on you.
I want to hear the whole album. This is one
Put
where
it
I want
all
to
in
hear the
context.
entire context, especially because it's a theme album.
Right.
So we'll see.
We never know. All right. We're going to see him this summer coming up. Bret Michaels, it's his turn to do the Look Back at the Days of Yore song. His is Back in the Day.
Yep, we've already gone through Steel Panther with 1987 and Ugly Kid Joe with Dead Friends Play.
Back in the Day, to me, it felt generic.
I thought
it didn't have the pop that 1987 did. It was just kind of okay.
All right, I am going to say this as I disagree with you to a point. It's not the greatest song in the world by any stretch, but I'm going to give it 3 frenzies because the first 30 seconds, I thought, oh my holy God, this could be one of the worst songs ever recorded. But then it kind of brought itself up, and the chorus kicked in.
2 initially, but it brought itself to a 2.5 for me.
I liked how he, in the chorus, changed the song every time he did the chorus.
He did. It was different.
You know, he went Back in Black. He did American Girl. But yeah, the first 30 seconds was cringeworthy.
Yeah, it was
like an old car that you love that won't start, and you're banging on the dashboard going, oh, Jesus Christ, would you just start? Give me a break. And then finally it kicks in, and then it gets better. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older than you. Once I got over the initial speed bump of those first 30 seconds.
I listened to it a couple times. It was just okay.
I will say it's good.
Me.
I will say it's good, not great. So I'll give it 3 frenzies to your weak 2.5.
Yeah, okay. I think that's fair. All right, moving along. Rival Sons, Rapture, the next song off their upcoming album. This one delved a little more mellow than what we have gotten from them before.
Yeah, this was definitely not Nobody Wants to Die.
Yeah, no. This was almost a lament.
And this is another one, like we were talking about with Metallica and Lux Eterna, where the more I listen to it, the more I get into it. I've listened to Rapture a lot over the last week or so. Probably I'm on a dozen listens at least with Rapture.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that much yet.
The more I listen to it, the more I get into it, but it's still not great. It's good. I would give it 2.5 frenzies.
That's where I'm sitting at with it as well, 2.5.
Yeah, like you said, it's different for them. It's not the straightforward Southern rock, hard rock.
Yeah, it's definitely very different. So I'm very intrigued now with the 2 vastly different songs released.
Yeah, and of course, I think this was the week you were out where I mentioned this, but yeah, Dark Fighter, the new album, got delayed.
God.
So we're not going to get it, from what I've seen, until June now.
Oh, good Lord. Come on, get off your asses and put it out.
Yeah, that disappointed me greatly because we need some content. We need some new material.
We do, which leads us to the 4th song, Out of Pocket, by the newest from Black Stone Cherry off their upcoming album.
I have to admit, I get some of these bands confused. Black Stone Cherry, Stone Sour, Buck Cherry, Black Label Society. I'm like,
come on, man.
I know Zach Wilde is in Black Label Society, but outside of that, I know somebody from Slipknot is in one of these bands. So, Out of Pocket.
This is one I recommended because I know this is not your usual.
And that's fine. We need to collaborate. We need to do more of this. So I was more than willing to do this, especially since I do know I've listened to Blackstone Cherry in the past. Positives. I love the chorus. I love the title of the song, and I love the chorus. The idea of being out of pocket is just cool as hell.
Yeah.
Negatives, the rest of the song is kind of, to me, generic.
It does have
and I'm
that
not
a
big fan of the singer. It seems a little weak vocally. I can only give it 2. Like 2 frenzies for me.
Yeah, this one I went 2.5. So the vocals were a little and you're right, the chorus was phenomenal.
Oh, the chorus is rocking. The chorus is,
and I love the guitar and the drum beat to go along with it.
Yeah, I just think the vocals are just a little weak.
They were a little weak on this one.
So there you go, kids.
They're all worth listening
4
to.
songs, yeah, definitely, especially when we're talking about the music desert that is winter.
Yes.
When we get new music, new stuff to review, new stuff for you to listen to, definitely check it out. All 4 of these songs, like Dave said, not bad. Not bad.
They're worth listening to.
I don't see anything being in the top 5 at the end of the year, but
no, not at this point.
But still, take what you can get.
They're worth a listen. Before we hit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff, big news. Ozzy Osbourne is retiring from touring. His health is not going to allow him to continue. That quad bike accident he had that screwed up his back, he's not coming back from it. That combined with his Parkinson's, he's just not able to do it physically.
Yeah, sad news that broke today. Now, that being said, as huge of a fan as I am of Ozzy Osbourne, and we'll get more into that in a few minutes, because we have to spend at least half this segment talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but
the Music Hall of Fame.
But we had a chance to see him in concert, but we passed on it, and I don't regret it because of the fact that all the old footage I've seen of him in concert, I mean, it would have been different if it was Randy Rhoads.
Right.
You know, or Zach. Well, I guess Zach Wilde is back with him now. But, you know, all Jakey Lee, the old classic guitar players with him in the 80s, the Bark at the Moon tour, Diary of a Madman. But the thing that always struck me about the videos is I don't want... Or
if you listen to the live songs.
Right. You've got Tribute, the live album with Randy Rhoads. The whole screaming at the crowd all the time.
Get your hands up!
Stand up. Get your hands fucking up. Start fucking clapping. I can't stand that at a concert.
Tell me what to do. I will clap and do whatever I want when I am ready. I do not need to be led.
I want to watch your performance. Listen to the music. I don't, like Dave said, need to be given directions. I don't want you screaming your political views at me, Billy Joe Armstrong, Bruce Springsteen. There are certain rules when you cross the line with me and with Dave. When it comes to a concert, you get downgraded. And those are sacrosanct rules. Do not tell us what to do. We're here to listen to you perform.
Entertain me. We're not here for your ego to be massaged.
So it's not like with me and Tom Petty, where I will regret never getting to see Tom Petty. With Ozzy Osbourne, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm good there as well.
That leads us to
Bum, bum, bum.
the nominees for the latest class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 14 nominees in all. 8 for the first time, 6 repeaters. And believe me, I have got a lot to say about this, as you probably expected. But we're going to have some fun with this. First off, let's talk about the nominees. The 8 who are in for the final cut for the first time: Sheryl Crow, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. This one boggles my mind that you can do a dual band. Joy Division and New Order.
Bullshit.
I've never seen this before. Why couldn't you do this for anybody else? Cyndi Lauper, George Michael, Willie Nelson, the White Stripes, and Warren Zevon. The 6 who are back after already being nominated previously are Kate Bush, Iron Maiden, Rage Against the Machine, Soundgarden, The Spinners, and A Tribe Called Quest. So, 14. Of course, fan voting opened today, and I was right there because I'm fighting the man. I don't care if it counts
for your 1/10 of 1%.
God damn it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring the system down. I'm going to rage against the machine. I'm going to do it. Every day I'm voting.
We're keeping Rage out. They don't belong.
Yeah, sorry. So that being said, and we will save a couple minutes for talking about the people, some of the people who did not get in.
And then there's still the snubs.
Yeah, the snubs.
Not even.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the snubs, but we're going to play Dave. Who are you putting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? If you have to put 5
from this list.
Yes. And I told you I voted today, so I put 5 in. I put 5. I wanted only 4, but I put a 5th in. All right. I will compare with you once I hear.
Off of this list.
Yes. Who is the conquistador putting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Iron Maiden.
1 for 1. I'm with you.
Warren Zevon.
2 for 2.
Soundgarden.
3 for 3.
White Stripes.
4 for 4.
The Spinners.
Okay. I don't disrespect that call. Not bad. Not bad. I went with the old pothead, Willie Nelson.
Come on! You raged against Dolly fucking Parton for being put in there.
If you can't beat them, join them.
I'm going old school with the Spinners.
Yeah, some of these nominees just piss me off. Like Kate Bush again. She's only nominated because of her song in Stranger Things.
Yeah. And it wasn't that great the first time around.
What the hell kind of effect has she had on the history of rock and roll?
0. Cyndi Lauper warrants more. She would be 6.
Even George Michael.
George Michael is there too.
But yeah, I completely...
Sheryl Crow, she hasn't done enough.
No.
She has not done enough.
No.
And Rage Against the Machine just sucks balls.
Well, yeah, and I know that's personal with you and me. You and I just hate them. Hate them with a passion. And wouldn't it be ridiculous if Rage Against the Machine and Soundgarden got in at the same... Because Chris Cornell, lead singer of Soundgarden, played with 3/4 of Rage Against the Machine in Audioslave.
Yep. Audioslave was so much better than Rage Against the Machine by swapping out the singer and putting in great lyrics and music.
Yep, absolutely. 3 albums from Audioslave. Oh my
top
God.
anything Rage had ever
Yes.
done.
Chris Cornell, Zach De La Rocca, not even a contest. The Spinners are a good call. I'm not saying I can live with the Spinners, but now first off, I'm going to make a prediction before we get into our snubs. Let's predict who actually will get in.
Rage. Tribe Called Quest.
No. Missy Elliott will get in. From what I've read, Missy Elliott will get in. Believe it or not, probably Joy Division and New Order. And I don't even understand that.
That boggles my
I couldn't even
mind.
think of one song from either of those incarnations of that band.
No.
They're saying the White Stripes probably get in first time. First ballot. They're saying Warren Zevon finally will get in.
Is Iron Maiden going to get the special recognition?
Well, I think that what I've read is they're saying if Iron Maiden or Warren Zevon, those two, if they don't get in, they'll get the Judas Priest Award from last year. Soundgarden should get in, but might not. Let's put it this way. Rock and roll fans, true rock and roll fans, again, will not be happy with what happens here.
Exactly.
They'll get a couple in that they like, and the rest of it's going to be pandering.
Yep. And you know, I was just talking today with somebody at work. She and her husband finally got to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She goes, yeah, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I go, oh, you mean the Music Hall of Fame? She goes, yeah, don't get me started.
So what, it's a C+?
Pretty much.
Lucas?
Yep.
It's a C+?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Virgil? Now we talk about the snubs, which we will do each and every year at this time, because that's what our focus should be. Dave and I will always call out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the bands that they have not given any shot for, any credit to. And I went through the list. I found a list of about 130.
Two.
Sifted through. I only got through the H's because I got so mad. Let me just tell you some of the ones that are eligible. 25 years since the first recording. That's when you become eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Gee, are we going to put Boston at the top of the list?
Not even close. Nope. Alice in Chains, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Bad Company, Blue Oyster Cult, Dio, Foreigner, Styx, REO Speedwagon, Peter Frampton, Jay Giles Band, Grand Funk Railroad, Guess Who, Sammy Hagar. I quit at that point. Now,
Motley Crue's been overlooked so far, too.
I stopped at H. REO and Styx I threw in because I remember we talked about
them before.
When they specifically said a couple months ago, Foreigner, Styx, REO Speedwagon, Boston were not getting in.
Which is absolute crap.
So once I hit Sammy Hagar, solo artist, he's in as Van Halen. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out, Jerry. I'm out of the contest. I mean, I could... H! That was just through H! Can you imagine the other bands that I didn't even get to? Because I got so mad, so frustrated, so infuriated with these idiots who know nothing about music, but they're the ones shepherding everybody in because they're the guys.
John Warner and his sycophants are so frickin' elitist.
Oh, by the way, they did something to try to explain themselves.
They can't explain themselves.
A couple days before the announcement of this nomination class, they changed the mission statement for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Why don't they just change the name?
They should. because they basically said, we acknowledge all types of music, especially R&B and country, which find their roots in rock and roll. But the part that really pissed me off, Dave, that I find insulting and infuriating for people like you and me, they said it twice in this quote-unquote new mission statement. We're trying to make sure we adhere to the rules of youth culture.
Oh, bullshit.
So basically saying, fuck you old rock and roll fans, you can go to hell. All we care about is the young demographic. All we care about is what the snowflakes and the 20-somethings think. We don't care about you 50, 60, 40-year-old rock and roll fans. You can go fuck to hell. I saw that and I got so mad. My blood pressure went up. I had to get my cane and my walker, and I had to my pacemaker. Sorry.
No,
that should show how rock and roll I am. That should show how rock and roll I am, as I call it a peacemaker after Roger Klein and the Peacemakers. I don't call it a pacemaker. I call it a peacemaker. That's how rock and roll I am. Dave and I should be running this too. The NBA, MLB,
God,
NFL.
They can't pay us enough. We don't have enough damn time to run all this shit.
God, I'm tired of this. Fucking. Just change the name.
Make it the Music Hall of Fame and be done with it. Quit the pretense.
Oh, by the way, you do know that there is a Metal Hall of Fame. Because Twisted Sister got back together last week and performed.
For the Metal Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think we need a road trip to the Metal Hall of Fame.
Yes. We should do a show from the parking lot
of the Metal Hall of Fame.
Screw the triangle on the Mistake by the Lake.
Harumph. Their attempt at a guitar pick. Pathetic. And it wasn't that impressive of a museum.
No, it's not. And the joke that I was making, of course, if you listen to our book reviews, two of our favorite literary characters are Lucas Davenport and Virgil Flowers from John Sandford's great Prey novels.
The last one, on the case, they wound up in Cleveland and they visited the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and came out and gave it a C+.
And that's about right.
That's
about right.
Puts it on the board right there. Not impressive at all.
It's a shame when we give something so precious to some people who are so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, I was looking through my Amazon Kindle deals of the day a couple weeks ago, and Jan Wenner's autobiography came up. I never came so close to punching my computer screen as I did at that moment.
I'm not one for
that prick.
I'm not one for book burning, but I would take it to the firing range and use it as a target.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. Of course, we'll have to talk about this again here in a month or two when they finally announce who made the cut. Get out there like me. Vote every day for that 0.001% that matters so little. Fight the power, man.
Because they think so little of the fans.
That is true. Just like we see in Hollywood with movies, with streaming, athletes in professional sports, they think so little of us. It's time we fought back.
Don't put them on the pedestal. All right. Movies coming up in our next segment, kids.
In the fortress of solitary justice, two brave men hold the fate of the sports world in their hands with the utterance of a single word: frenzy! These seemingly ordinary men become the maestro and the conquistador, destined to save the world from stupidity on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all noble podcast hosts everywhere. Dave and Kev stand for truth, justice, and the frenzy way.
Get over the hangover already. It's the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0, the movie segment here in segment 2, February 4th, 2023. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And we are on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher!
Don't forget to check out the Facebook page.
Don't forget to check out the sports edition that drops on Thursdays.
That is right. And you can find links to both that as well as the weekend edition on that Facebook page. All right, not a lot with movies this week in terms of reviews. Lots of movie news coming up here in a moment. But Uncle Kev has story time.
Oh, color me intrigued.
So, of course, we've put rules forth. We do not review movies that we have previously seen unless there is a reason, unless there is a story behind it. Otherwise, we feel like we're cheating ourselves and you, the podcast nation out there.
But this gives an opportunity to give you something to fall back on that you may have missed for some reason.
Or in this case, something you should stay away from. I don't know why I did this to myself, but a couple weeks ago, Dave was off. He was not feeling well. He missed the podcast. So, one of my dumbasses of the week on the sports edition was the whole Michelob Ultra ad campaign that is coming up for the Super Bowl involving newer athletes playing characters from Caddyshack, including one unbelievably offensive Tony Romo playing our beloved Carl Spackler.
Oh, come on!
In one of the classic moments where he is the Cinderella boy.
Where he's teeing off with the weed whacker, taking out the flowers.
Right before the Reverend comes out.
Wants him to caddy for him. Oh, you got out of that one, folks.
I know the bad stuff's going to come down for quite a while. But the fact that Tony Romo is been anointed to take the place of one of the 5 most legendary characters in motion picture history.
It's a travesty.
I put that down as one of my dumbasses of the week. Right?
Rightly so.
So, bopping around on HBO Max last week, I stumbled upon Caddyshack 2.
Oh! Jackie Mason, Jonathan Silver.
And I said, it's been 30 years. Why not? Let's try it again. I watched it a while after the first go around. I thought, maybe like a fine wine.
It aged better.
No. God, Jackie Mason. I mean, the minute you said Jackie Mason, I was like, yeah. Jackie Mason was so awful. So awful. But the thing is, the writing was lazy because they did was they took the script from the original Caddyshack and crossed out the names of the characters, wrote in new character names, and then
slightly tweaked a little bit, but not much.
Barely. You've got the downtrodden caddy, trying to make it with the rich girl or somewhat rich girl.
Yeah.
The tweaking that could have worked that ultimately didn't was Dan Aykroyd trying to play the military mercenary who Robert Stack plays, hires to try to
stop
Jackie Mason.
I got poison in my butt. Would you suck it out?
Forcing this bean-filled burrito on Robert Stack. I mean, it's a train wreck of a movie.
Bad.
It's lazy filmmaking at its worst. Chevy Chase coming back as Ty Webb, maybe, possibly a tiny bit redeemed it, but not much.
It ruined Robert Stack's legacy. Jonathan Silverman, the comedic part, he was fine in it.
As the young caddy.
It's one of his first roles. We eventually got him with Andrew McCarthy in Weekend at Bernie's. So it kind of launched. It was a launching point for him.
Diane Cannon is just there as eye candy.
Yeah, and that's never a bad thing.
But another reason why I tie this in for my Uncle Kev story time is, of course, if you listen to this week's sports edition, I talked about Steph Curry and how he was trying to force the low-income housing out of his area around his $30 million mansion. And that is the crux of the plot for Caddyshack 2.
Yep. There you go.
So not only one, but two reasons why I get to use this as a movie review under the rules of Uncle Kev's story time. But in the end, oh my God,
stay away.
It's
Stay
just not
far away.
It's not good. Not good at all. One frenzy is
and that's
all
generous.
I can give it. And again, I thought 30 years might make it better. No, it
didn't. It just solidified the abysmal product that they put out.
Lazy. It's lazy. That's the thing. It just has lazy written all over it. Money grab, lazy.
Yeah. The cast, they could have done so much more with.
Yep.
All right. Some movie news. Everybody's favorite bad boy of the moment. Pun intended here. There's a clip. Will Smith going up, knocking on a door, answered by Martin Lawrence saying, "It's about time." So that's right. Bad Boys for Life. So the fourth Bad Boys movie will be coming out at some point.
Yes, it is in pre-production.
Yep. So if you're a fan of the series, it's something to look forward to.
Of course.
Probably the biggest entertainment news.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to gear up for this because this is going to take a while.
There's so damn much to digest.
James Gunn promised us before the end of January his vision for what is coming for the DC movie universe, as well as the TV side of things. He did not lie. He did not disappoint, but he waited till the last damn minute.
Yes, he did.
So Dave and I need to break down
the DC universe and Elseworlds.
That's right, because the Robert Pattinson Batman movie
and the
sequel,
Joker sequel coming out,
are considered Elseworlds,
along with Teen Titans Go cartoon series that continues on.
So they are off in their own little world, Elseworlds.
Yep.
They are not part of the continuity that James Gunn is setting up.
So you have your DC multiverse split right here.
The intriguing thing about all of this is, from what I have read, the upcoming Flash movie is actually going to be
the linchpin going forward.
They like what is coming out of this movie in terms of fracturing the DC multiverse. So Ezra Miller might have actually, again,
fallen ass backwards into success. All I can hope is that they recast somebody else to play the Flash going forward.
Because, of course, in the statement, one of the statements they put out talking about all these various projects when they were talking about the Flash movie, they had to refer to Ezra Miller as they and them. We are supporting their recovery. I'm telling you, I'm done with this.
Idiot.
I am done with this.
They are an idiot who should have no more movie roles because of the psychotic bullshit he's been doing.
The fact that we are letting people call themselves they or them, a single person, a single entity, because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Pick a side! Pick a gender! Fucking do it! Jesus Christ! This is unbelievably ridiculous how we are letting the nut jobs of the world, the meek will inherit the earth. God help us, it's happening.
And they're not even the meek. They're the bullies.
I agree completely. And we will talk more about that later.
But getting back to the overall vision of the DC universe.
Films coming up. We already knew that they had dismissed Henry Cavill as Superman despite his cameo at the end of Black Adam.
And kudos to Gunn for coming out and saying Henry got dicked by the previous regime. They had no intention of continuing him as Superman. They made false overtones to get him to do the cameo.
Yep. So James Gunn will be shepherding the first movie in what they're calling Gods and Monsters, which will be, I guess, their phase 1 for the upcoming DC Universe relaunch.
Now, supposedly they are writing out the entirety of the whole story up front for more continuity than supposedly what we had from Marvel in their Infinity War storyline.
I've got to tell you, before we move on, I've got to tell you this. Looking at what they've got planned for the TV side, the movie side now, I'll give them credit. Something that we were complaining about, bitching and pissing and moaning about for years. Back when Greg Berlanti was running the DC shows on the CW, when we wanted to see Amel's Arrow.
And the movies.
And we wanted to see our Flash from the TV show instead of the nut job Ezra Miller. He says now, going forward, that's done. After Superman, the current Superman show on the CW, if you're in the TV shows, you're in the films, vice versa. We're not going to have multiple actresses playing the same character in multiple shows. If you're in a TV show or you're in a movie playing a character, and we flip you,
you're going to be there.
Yep. So for continuity purposes, completely agree.
It's about damn time somebody figured it out.
But I don't understand the projects they've decided to move forward with. Obviously, Superman Legacy, you launch Superman out there.
It's not an origin story per se.
Right.
Because let's face it, origin stories have been done to death. We don't need them.
We know what happened with Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. We know. But then you get into, this is the film side first. You've got Swamp Thing coming. James Mangold, I've heard today, is going to be in charge of directing that one. I love the TV show, the brief TV show, not the Adrienne Barbeau old school stuff,
movie,
but the one they had on the DC,
yeah,
the online thing. And then they brought it over to HBO Max, and
briefly,
then it went to the CW.
Then, yeah.
You've got Supergirl,
which is supposed to take a dark turn.
You've got their rogue crew, the Authority. And then, most intriguing of all, is Brave and the Bold, which used to be in comic books. The Brave and the Bold was a Batman team-up comic book, where the Brave and the Bold would be Batman teaming up with this guy, or Batman teaming up with this female superhero.
See, I thought they were bringing the soap opera to the silver screen, but then I remembered that that's the Bold and the Beautiful.
But now the Brave and the Bold in this incarnation, what James Gunn is envisioning is it's Batman, his new Batman.
Whoever that's going to be.
With yet another Robin, his lost son. So no Dick Grayson, no Jason Todd. It's going to be yet another Robin. Now,
why not?
We've got the Gotham Knights coming in here in a few months on the CW, one of the last vestiges of the previous regime.
The old regime. Are they even, even going to
but,
allow it?
But.
Or is that considered the Elseworld?
I don't know, but this involves another, quote-unquote, Bruce Wayne lost child. So I don't know if this is
Boy,
the
Bruce
same.
got around, didn't he?
He got to work off that anger somehow. Him and the Hulk. At least Batman doesn't have to wear like a steel condom. Otherwise,
like
he's going to blow out some woman's uterus.
Or shoot her head off.
Hulk coming! Hulk coming! And next thing you know, She-Hulk's head blown completely off. Although she would have the uterus, the vagina to actually handle it.
That's right. Oh, God. All right, let's get back on track here.
All right, going to the TV. The TV stuff makes me more mad because awful news, awful news in my opinion, is that 3 major cancellations on HBO Max came down in the last 2 days. Titans, done after the upcoming second half of season 4. Doom Patrol, done after the upcoming second half of season 4.
Absolute travesty. Those
Pennyworth, done.
Oh, come
after
on!
season 3.
This
after they just brought it over.
This is absolutely stupid.
And those were 3 great shows.
Very well done.
And even more upsetting, because we thought this show would be safe because it was the brainchild of James Gunn. Now they're saying Peacemaker season 2 on indefinite hold.
Oh, Gunn, you're an asshole.
Because
you've officially pissed me off right now.
He can't handle running Peacemaker season 2, while he's working on Superman Legacy.
Figure it out.
But, again, going to the new shows, the new TV shows, somehow they can't do Peacemaker season 2 yet. But they're going to do a standalone show about Amanda Waller.
We don't give a crap about Amanda Waller.
Where the hell are you going to find any kind of intrigue or interest? The whole thing about Amanda Waller was she was the one behind the scenes, but the groups, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, were the ones that interested us. What about Amanda Waller?
Who cares? She's a bit character. We don't need
You
anything
almost said
focusing
something.
on her.
You said bit character. I
She's
think you wanted to at the end of that.
she's both. Nobody cares her origin story. Nobody.
This is where I say they're making grave, terrible missteps. Is canceling Titans, Doom Patrol, Pennyworth.
You're
But
giving
we're
us
gonna-
Amanda Waller
we're getting
right now, and you're pushing off Peacemaker. Stupid.
I guess that means John Cena is going to be available for WrestleMania in California here coming up in April.
There you go. God, that's so damn frustrating.
Also, on the TV slate, Paradise Lost, which is supposed to be about the island of the Amazons, but it takes place before the birth of Wonder Woman. So it's supposed to be about the political intrigue going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, because everybody cares about that.
Now, do the Amazons make out? Do we get to see them drop some of those golden brassieres and golden undies and golden triangle? Triangle of sadness.
God help me. See what I have to deal with. Although we are talking comics, which is relegated to the 12-year-old mindset.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Really?
Also,
Really?
now this is the one TV show out of what they have put out there that I like. Lanterns. Now, Lanterns is supposed to be Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, two of the three most recognizable Green Lanterns.
Right.
But they are going to be more of a detective team than just flying out throughout the universe, inner space.
So they're intergalactic detectives.
I don't know if they're even going to leave Earth. I don't know. The image they put forth, they said they want to make it more like the HBO show True Detectives.
Why does that feel like that leaves a lot on the table?
That's what she said. Finally, Booster Gold, who has never been one of my favorite.
Who?
Booster Gold is basically a fraud superhero. Booster Gold came from the future and pretends to be a almighty superhero from the future come to the present, to help save the world. This is what I'm saying. These are the characters. These are the shows that the brilliant James Gunn picked.
You struck gold with Guardians of the Galaxy. Now you're stretching.
And here's another little nugget, a little tidbit.
You're getting too smart for your own good there, Gunn.
They've been talking about, well, which actors of the remaining DC movies are you going to keep around? Which ones are you going to get rid of? Your youngest Nick, my nephew, has been talking about how he keeps hearing about Lobo and how Jason Momoa. He says, nope, not going to happen. I'm not doing that. I am not going to recast
a current
characters.
Actor into a new character. Ugh.
And he won't even do it when it comes to some of his actors from the Marvel universe, because story came out this week. Dave Bautista
wanted to do Bane.
He has played Drax, of course, coming up this weekend in Knock at the Cabin. Wanted desperately, and I did not realize this, wanted desperately to play Bane. And I'm like, oh my God, would that have been perfect?
He would be awesome as Bane. And Gunn said, No.
This whole thing depresses me. This whole thing depresses me.
It does.
I don't like this direction at all.
You are knocking out actors who would be perfect in certain roles. We've seen actors can change from one superhero to another, Chris Evans. It can be done, especially if you're moving from one comic side to the other, Marvel to DC. It would be fine.
Green Lantern, Deadpool.
There you go. It can work. But no, you have to be too damn smart for your own good.
And we'll touch more on this stuff later on.
As it comes down the line.
But a couple of weeks ago, I promised a book review. I did a very quick synopsis, but said I was waiting on Dave to review this because this is one of our favorite series. So we got a couple minutes for Literary Frenzy. So let us knock out No Plan B, the latest Jack Reacher novel from Lee and Andrew Child.
This was definitely an intriguing story.
A corrupt prison in Mississippi, where we have 4 different storylines that basically converge.
I will give them credit for bringing all the storylines together. This was different for a Jack Reacher. Usually you might have 1 or 2 combined. But this melding all to one, it worked really well for him.
No, it didn't.
I thought it did.
Yes, we have
it was intriguing.
This was one of the weakest Jack Reacher novels I have ever read. Where I didn't like the 4 storylines. I didn't like little mini Jack Reacher hitchhiking his way across the country to find his father, and it ends up being, he bonds with Jack Reacher at the end and gets a little folding toothbrush, and oh my fucking God!
It was something different.
think Andrew Child must have wrote this one.
He
not
probably
Lee,
did.
Not Lee. And then you've got the arsonist, who is just in there for convenience's sake at the end. I didn't like it that much. I'm not saying
it was okay.
No.
At least they made it kind of meld.
Now the Reacher
trying
parts are
to
fine.
do. They got lazy bringing in the alternate paths because they didn't have to focus on Reacher.
That was a lazy part of that. I can
understand
what they were trying to do. I just think they failed miserably because the less Reacher you have in the Reacher books,
the worse the book
the book is going to be. It's not like Spencer where you could focus on Hawk, even though they wouldn't do that. It's not like an Elvis Cole novel where you can focus on Joe Pike. This is all about Reacher. These books are all about Jack Reacher. And when you start going away for 10, 20, 30, 40 pages from Reacher, you're destroying the book. And I'm sorry, again. Oh my God, I'm going to run away across country and I'm little Jack Reacher Jr. Yeah. We've already gone through this shit where we had him thinking he had a kid. I don't want this anymore. No more little kids thinking they're Jack Reacher Jr. I don't want Jack Ryan Jr. I don't want Jack Reacher Jr. I don't want Spencer Jr. I don't want Elvis Cole Jr.
You're gonna get Elvis Cole Jr.
Shut up, Dave. I'll give it a very, very, very weak. No Plan B, by the way, the name of the book. I don't even know if we mentioned that.
It's a B.
I give it a weak 3 Frenzies. Very weak 3 Frenzies.
Yeah, it's a 3. It's not the greatest. It's mostly entertaining, despite what my cohort here is babbling on about. He likes things a little more tidy.
TV and streaming up next, kids. We'll be right back.
In a world of politically correct sports coverage, 2 individuals stand alone as the last bastion of sanity. The Maestro and the Conquistador star in Sports Frenzy 2.0, the podcast.
Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Segment 3, TV and streaming, Moment of Silence, and the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week here on the weekend edition, Sports Frenzy 2.0. He's a Conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
All right, we're going to start off talking about some ongoing TV shows. Not doing full reviews yet. Season's just started. I believe Dave has got some action and adventure to kickstart this segment.
That's right. Season 3 of Jack Ryan has hit prime, finally. Took him damn long enough. John Krasinski's back. I watched the first episode with the boys the other night, trying to get our schedules to combine. Gets a little tough with everybody working different hours. Russia's rearing its ugly head as they are in real life, but the intrigue in this one is pretty damn good. Jack's getting ready to have to go off the grid after getting, shall we say, thrown out as a scapegoat by one of the CIA heads of station, and his former boss and partner is none too pleased with what's going on. So we'll see how Jack winds up resolving this situation, trying to stop a top secret nuclear weapon that was started in the 60s.
Yeah, see, I really wanted to watch Jack Ryan. Sorry, still stuck in last segment's book review. I did read most of the original Tom Clancy books, but I can't buy into John Krasinski as Jack Ryan. I just can't. I know, well, Kev, Harrison Ford and Alec Baldwin and Chris Pine. And
you can't get over the whole
Ben Affleck
thing.
And I just can't see him as an action hero. And I know he was in the movie about
The Quiet Place.
Well, yeah, he directed that and starred in the first one, but he was in the Benghazi movie too, as an operative. And I can't do it. It's like when I made fun of Air Force One all those years ago, which I still think is a vastly overrated movie. Action president.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And so that's how I feel about seeing John Krasinski as Jack Ryan. It's like
it's a personal thing that you'll have to get over. He
how about you and Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher?
That is complete bullshit.
Oh no, you can't pull that on me. You can't pull that on me.
I can, because Jack Reacher is 6'6", not 5'2".
The 2 Tom Cruise Jack Reacher movies are great. Not as good as the series on Amazon.
No.
But I have to suspend my disbelief for Jack Ryan.
I am not giving Tom Cruise anything as Jack Reacher.
Hypocrite.
Does not compute. Completely different.
All right. Now we get into the tricky areas here. Well, not so much with this one. Poker Face just debuted on Peacock last week. Natasha Lyonne. And the thing I love about this, Dave's only watched the first two. I have watched the first four. The thing I love about it is how you look at the credits at the beginning, and this is absolutely an homage to the old Sunday murder mystery movies. McCloud, Macmillan and Wife, Columbo.
Yep. Speaking of Columbo, her character is so reminiscent of Columbo, being observant and trying to talk everything through, and the whole absent-mindedness of forgetful things. It works for her.
And of course, being a bullshit detector.
Yes.
That's her one skill.
Her skill is she knows when somebody's lying.
Yes. And if you have not watched the first episode, shame on you. But the setup is she has basically been kicked out of every casino, every private poker game across the country
because they
figured out that she is the human bullshit detector, can tell when somebody's lying and bluffing. Now, of course, these are all standalone episodes, which I love. I miss this format so much.
This is awesome. You have the overriding storyline of her trying to save her life from the first episode, but helping people and solving different murders and mysteries along the way.
Right. She has to take odd jobs. She has to somehow find money, make a way to get through as she's running from, as Dave said, the situation she got put in the first episode.
Which, holy crap, by the way, the ending.
This, I'm telling you, now I'm 2 ahead, like I said, of Dave. This is so far my favorite show of 2023. I mean,
hands down, it is.
This
fantastic.
Is old school detective weekly, solve the case along with your hero show that I miss so much. So much.
It harkens back, like you said, Columbo, Macmillan and Wife, McCloud.
Yep.
You can throw in all the other good stuff. Banachek.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, now you're speaking my
Rockford
language.
Files.
Yep. So
this
you should know at least the next two are definitely worthwhile. Definitely down the same road, the same path, the same vein. Now we have to talk about The Last of Us.
Now, I've seen the first two. I have not seen the most recent, the third.
Right. So let's first off talk about the show as a whole. And then I'm going to have to talk about episode 3 because it involves a broader theme. But based on the first 2 episodes, I don't know what makes this show stand out any more than The Walking Dead or any of these other zombie, virus, post-apocalyptic shows. I'm just not getting it yet.
I agree with you. It's the same old. Okay, instead of whatever virus came down from space or whatever, is it giving too much away to say what causes this one?
No, I don't think so. Not
because the video game has been out forever.
Right.
So it's basically a fungus that infects. It has taken over humans as a host and wants to establish itself to take over.
Yeah, we find that out in the first episode,
yeah.
Right.
So,
and I did like the first episode where it felt a little more real.
Yeah,
where they're running and trying to evade the government's quarantine zone.
This I liked because you saw it at the beginning as it's happening and what's going on. not somebody waking up from a freaking coma in the middle and not knowing what the hell happened.
Yeah, but they do a lot of flashbacks.
There are a lot of flashbacks.
So that leads me to episode 3.
See, now, the premise behind it, getting somebody to help try and solve it, to me, it harkens back to the sci-fi show Z Nation, where you had somebody who was supposed to be the cure that they had to get cross country and avoid everything.
Right.
So
these aren't big spoilers, like Dave said.
Not.
Like Dave said,
they've been done to death.
And plus, if you've played the video game, and we're only a couple episodes in, so
there's nothing spectacular going on
outside of the main character, Joel Pedro Pascal. I like him, but he's like the Rick, from The Walking Dead. I can't stand the girl. I can't stand her.
I hate her.
And I was so well.
Anyway,
yes, I was gonna say Anna Torv, who I always loved from Fringe, makes an appearance early on.
Yep. Let's just say they're not afraid of having people die.
No, they're not. Now, episode 3, again, I'm not trying to ruin anything for Dave or you guys out there, but I have to talk about this because this impacts a larger viewpoint when it comes to movies and TV shows. Now, Dave and I'm going to bring him in on this because I need to save my viewpoint on this. I need to save my reputation. I don't want people hating me for saying what I'm going to say about episode 3. Dave and I watched the great show Animal Kingdom. And Darren Cody was gay. Darren Cody, there were a lot of scenes in Animal Kingdom where they're having
gay sex.
But we didn't have a problem with it because, number one, it's in the middle of California, Los Angeles, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Of course, gay people are going to hook up and have sex. Darren just happened to be gay. It was what it was. It didn't bother me. I was fine with it. It fit well in the show and the plot. Episode 3 of The Last of Us seems like a forced hour-long, let's make sure we force gay people on you and gay sex on you episode.
That's the politically correct episode.
Yes. I won't say much more than that, other than you better expect that from episode 3. Nick Offerman from Parks and Recreation is in episode 3 as a survivalist. It's basically kind of like an one-off tangent storyline that loosely brings in Joel. That's another problem I have with it. Whereas we're talking about Darren Cody in Animal Kingdom,
he's
integral
an
part of the
character,
story, and
it just happens,
he is gay.
It fits. It was written in. This, if it's part of the main storyline, fine. If it's forced in to fit the agenda and check a box, then it has no business being in the show.
All I'm going to say is I felt like I had to turn it off at one point because I couldn't take it, because it felt forced, like you just said. It felt forced. It felt like we're going to put this little side story in just to make sure we check a box.
I hate that. That is absolutely worthless. It's a cop out, and it can absolutely ruin a show.
Now, it's up to you guys whether you want to watch episode 3. I'm telling you right now, you don't even need to. You can skip to episode 4 without missing a beat. Maybe watch the last 10 minutes of the episode, but otherwise it feels like it is a blatant Hollywood checkbox episode.
Ugh.
And I hated it. And I literally was considering stopping watching the show altogether because it's lazy writing. It's forced politically correct writing. It's not like a gay character, Modern Family, Animal Kingdom that fits, that works.
Doom Patrol,
that's not forced on you. This is forced on you. This show is forcing a particular storyline on you for one episode only, just to say, hey, look how politically correct we are. Look how cool and hip we are with the times.
That has no business being anywhere in.
Now, hopefully after this episode, it'll get better. I forced my way through it. We'll see what happens when we hit episode 4 going forward. Other TV and streaming news.
Countdown to March 6th. We finally will get season 2 of Perry Mason on HBO Max.
Can't wait for that.
Matthew Rhys is phenomenal.
Yep, not your mom and dad's Perry Mason, but still very good.
Yes, more of the dark run, which is beautiful. It's a great take on it.
Amazon. I guess we need to start watching the Terminal List because they've renewed it for season 2, and they are going to do a prequel series involving Taylor Kitsch's character.
All right, so we're going to have to go back to it.
Yep.
I just couldn't get into it.
I know. Same thing with that and The Peripheral. For some reason, outside of Reacher, the Amazon shows just don't do it for me. We talked about Jack Ryan. It, for me, doesn't do it. So, yeah, I'm going to have to revisit some of these shows, I guess. A show that I did watch for the first couple seasons, The Blacklist, is finally coming to an end. James Spader.
Really?
This season will be the last. Wow. 10 seasons in. We'll be done with The Blacklist. The show that will never die. The Simpsons has been renewed for 2 more seasons.
Good Lord.
Seasons 35 and 36.
Wow. Well, you know what's coming to an end after 21 years on the air. Daytime psychologist Dr. Phil's finally going to leave the air.
I'm not shedding a tear for that.
Neither am I, but we always used Dr. Phil as one of our recurring characters in previous incarnations of Sports Frenzy when we were on cable access.
What is coming back, which will make all of us happy, Hulu's finally doing something right.
Yes, they are.
The theme song by the great Roger Klein and the Peacemakers.
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill is coming back to Hulu. That should be awesome. Can't wait for that.
Got a little nightmare there. That's going to be a good show.
They brought back Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus, and now we get King of the Hill back on Hulu.
Life is good.
Yeah, maybe there is hope yet for the human race.
Yeah, not with what I'm going to drop on you. Matlock is coming back. Only Kathy Bates will be playing Madeline Matlock. So we have a full gender change on the beloved character.
Yeah, I saw the CBS News.
Why can't things just be left alone?
Because people aren't creative. All the snowflakes in Hollywood aren't creative. They can't come up with new ideas. Because
Yeah.
one of the other shows at CBS, in addition to the Matlock reboot, they are going to come up with a show called Watson.
Oh, God.
Dr. Watson doing a medical mystery show because Sherlock Holmes has been killed by Moriarty. So now Dr. Watson has to go off on his own. Am I tired of medical shows, fire department shows outside of Tacoma FD,
Good call. Very good call.
and police procedurals? Oh my God, I'm tired of all of them. Whatever happened to good old raunchy comedies?
We don't have them anymore. Although we know Night Court has been a flop.
Right.
Frasier is coming back. Kelsey Grammer back to Boston.
Yes. Yes.
This I'm intrigued by, depending on how the cast is done. Again, we said Night Court was bad because there was zero chemistry among the actors.
Right.
And the writing was Let's see if they can get Frasier right.
It's going to be rough without his dad.
I know.
That's the one thing, you know. Going back to Boston, which I heard as well, that could give it a jolt, getting him out of the Pacific Northwest, getting him back into Cheers.
If maybe we come back to a particular bar.
Oh, my God. And I can't remember which episode it was. I think it was episode 2 of Poker Face with John Ratzenberger. I didn't want to jump the gun into episode 3 and 4, but yeah, John Ratzenberger from Cheers is in episode 2 of Poker Face.
Cliff Clavin.
He's big man. He's turned into a big man.
He's become a big boy.
But yeah, I'm also probably going to check that out. Of course, we have talked about the fact that we're not getting enough original content.
Right.
You know, because the COVID delay.
I'm so sick of this COVID delay bullshit.
Oh, well, Dave, it's going to get better because guess what's looming on the horizon? A writer's strike. An inevitable writer's strike. So guess what? They're already planning for the fact that we're not going to have any more scripted shows. But guess what we're going to get a lot more of? Reality television.
Bull crap. Let's go back and bring some of the great shows from the 70s and 80s back on air to fill the time.
Didn't they do that?
I don't want to have to fucking subject myself to MILF Mansion.
Didn't they do that, though? One of the writer's strikes like 20 years ago.
I think so.
They redid. They took the scripts from the old show and they redid. I can't remember the names of the shows.
I don't want them redone. I just want the old shows re-shown.
But yeah, I think they actually, though, did.
Yeah.
At least 1 or 2 classic shows. They took the old scripts and just took the cast, a newer cast, younger cast, and redid the shows. Because the old scripts do not fall under the strike guidelines.
Right.
And I'm so fucking tired of Hollywood. God, I'm fucking tired of Hollywood.
We had a shot with the mudslides, and then the rain stopped.
I'm not trying to be morbid, but I haven't heard any updates on Julian Sands.
I haven't either. That's scary.
Ugh. All right, finally, and we are going to a segment 4 because we don't have enough time.
There's too many damn moments of silence to cover.
Yeah. But we talked a little while back about how cost-cutting, HBO Max, and how they were getting rid of shows. And, of course, we talked about Titans, Doom Patrol, Pennyworth. Well, guess who's now falling in line? Paramount Plus is now bringing Showtime in under their brand. You cannot get Showtime as a standalone service anymore. And, of course, what does that mean? They've dumped a lot of shows. I don't know if they're doing the tax write-off thing again, like HBO Max did.
This is getting ridiculous.
Here's the problem I've always had with this, and we talked about this with Westworld. Show I watched, show your son watched.
If you're not doing anymore, why do you pull it entirely?
You made a great
absolutely
point
no
about a month
sense.
ago. You made a great point when we talked about this with HBO about a month ago. What does it cost you to just keep the damn shows on your servers so people can watch them? But they're doing this whole tax write-off thing. There's this whole hinky tax write-off thing that now Paramount Plus and Showtime are doing. And everybody laughs at me and says, Kevin, why do you buy DVDs? Why don't you just watch the stuff on streaming? Because of this. I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. I knew that these companies were going to be too greedy, too arrogant, and they were never going to keep their shows available to us either at all or for a reasonable price. And now it's come true.
And you know where it all started? With The Rat. Disney and their vault.
Yeah, we're only going to let you have these shows for a limited time.
And then they're going into the vault.
I find this now supposedly talking about Westworld. Supposedly there is a deal now with Roku, the Roku channel, and with Tubi, where Westworld and some of these shows that have been discarded from HBO and Showtime and Paramount Plus will now be available on those outlets.
We'll see.
But again, it's a roll of the dice. If you want to watch your favorite shows, kids, you better watch them while they're on originally.
Yep. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot.
I wouldn't be shocked if once Titans and Doom Patrol are done,
they're gone.
Yeah. On HBO Max, they're going to disappear. So watch them while you can, kids, and then tell these streaming services to fuck off. All right. Moments of silence, dumbasses coming up in a bonus segment here on the weekend edition. Dave and I will be right back.
Yes. Listen, you will, to Sports Frenzy 2.0, you must. Much to learn from the maestro and conquistador there is for entertainment every Saturday. On Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and everywhere are they found.
All right, kids, it's the fourth segment, the somber segment of Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And here, as we record February 1st, 2023, this drops February 4th. Numerous moments of silence to cover. The biggest name that we have, Cindy Williams, for her big show was Laverne and Shirley.
The spinoff from, of course, one of the greatest shows of the 70s, Happy Days.
Yep. Prominent role in the movie American Graffiti. Just one of those actresses, you knew her, you knew you were going to get a good performance from her.
And as she played Shirley Feeney, it was one of the more indelible roles. I will always remember the first episode when they were brought in, Laverne and Shirley, on Happy Days.
where she was Ron Howard's date.
I hate to say it, but basically whoring herself out.
Yeah.
And of course, Richie was a little too much of a gentleman.
Yep. Little Richie Cunningham, high school, going out with a woman.
Right.
Who was probably in her 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s.
But, yeah. And of course, the show Laverne and Shirley gave us the other awesome immortal duo of Lenny and Squiggy.
Yep.
Now there's stories out there about why Cindy Williams quit Laverne and Shirley, and we're not going to delve into that type of stuff. But again, if I was an actor, an actress, we all want to do one thing that we're remembered forever for, that in a way makes us immortal. And at least she can always look back at this role.
She had
as
one
Shirley
of the
Feeney.
most iconic characters in television history.
Yep. And she will live on forever. So rest in peace to Cindy Williams.
Yep. Moving on with actresses. Lisa Loring, the original Wednesday Addams.
Which we were just talking about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because we were discussing
who's still alive from the original cast. And it was her and John Ashton.
Yeah. And it's creepy that the other day I looked and saw that she had passed away, thinking, oh my God, we were just talking about the fact that she was one of the few members left alive from the original Addams Family, talking about, of course, Netflix's hit show Wednesday.
Yep. Oh, another actress passes away young at 45 of cancer, Annie Wershing.
From one of your favorite shows, Bosch.
Yep. So she's been in a number of different shows, but man,
yeah, I think she's in
way
24.
too young. Yeah, 24, and too sad to go so young.
Now it's all music, unfortunately, here, as the mausoleum of rock and roll has to make room for a lot more people.
Yep. Floyd Sneed, drummer from Three Dog Night.
We got Tom Verlaine, a band that the critics loved. They had one marginally successful album in the 70s, Television.
Yeah, never a fan.
Their leader, Tom Verlaine, passed away.
Yep. Motown's Berry Gordy's first star had their first big hit with Barrett Strong. He recorded Money, That's What I Want. Also a prolific songwriter. A lot of the Temptations recorded a number of his songs. Has passed away. And
the Yardbirds guitarist Anthony Topham, of course, not nearly the most recognizable name from that band, the Yardbirds,
but still. And then Dean Daughtry, co-founder of the Atlantic Rhythm Section.
Atlanta Rhythm Section. One of the most underrated bands of all time. I love the ARS is great. So Into You, Imaginary Lover, Champagne Jam. I listen to, I'm not lying, I listen to their greatest hits at least once every couple months because it is such a great collection. And yeah, when I saw this, I was really probably a little bit more sadder than most. Just because,
I know you were a huge fan of theirs.
Yes. Yeah, when I was growing up, Imaginary Lover was such a great song. I had that on a K-Tel album. Which is, of course, for you kids out there now, is kind of like the equivalent of the, now that's what they call music collections. But back when I was a kid, it was the K-Tel stuff. And you'd go to Kmart or you'd go to Target. Back then, Airway.
Yep.
And you would pick up the vinyl for $5.99 of the biggest hits
songs
of the first half of the year.
Yeah.
And they do that every couple times a year. And Atlanta Rhythm Section, Imaginary Lover, So Into You, they were on my K-Tel collections.
Yep, not to be confused with K-Val.
Hot Tub Time Machine. Oh, why would you do that to me, Dave? Come on.
Because
K-Val.
that's what I do.
K-Val. Now I'm going to have to watch Hot Tub Time Machine.
You're welcome. All right.
Especially to wash the taste of Caddyshack 2 out of my mouth. Watch a very good raunchy comedy.
That's
instead
right.
of a very bad one.
All right. Now it's time for the pivot.
Well, the first couple on here, they've already got their seats reserved. We talked about this on the sports edition, soldering the seat belts.
So there's
Yeah, these
no
two
escape.
definitely have their seat belts soldered, and they're both from the same TV show.
Isn't that convenient?
Number one, Whoopi Goldberg from The View. Yes, we know what happened in Memphis. Of course, the fact that it was African American police officers beating up another African American. Nobody's condoning it. Nobody's saying it's right or wrong. In the end, it's wrong, but
These guys were so completely out of line.
But the fact that a lot of these idiots, again in Hollywood, like Whoopi Goldberg, just keep overlooking the fact that it's about a greater problem in society. It's about our division and our hatred. And they keep feeding into that, saying stupid things like, maybe we need to see white people get beat up before a change is made.
That is such an unintelligent comment.
It's a racist comment. It's a racist comment. But she'll never get called out on it because, number one, she's a Hollywood chosen one.
She's Whoopi.
Who still doesn't really acknowledge the fact that the Holocaust happened for the reasons it did. Oh, but her buddy, Joy Behar, had to chime in on another issue.
Another twit.
Joy Behar says she hopes Donald Trump doesn't die too soon because that would make him a martyr.
What?
And then she followed up later on in the same statement saying, well, I'm such a good person.
You are the definition of evil.
You are the devil! You are the fucking devil, Joy Behar. And people who don't believe that,
a good person.
listening to you,
You are as far from a good
stupid
person as possible.
Honestly, anybody out there who does not understand the fact that Joy Behar is evil incarnate, you take her along with you and jump off a fucking bridge. Seriously, that woman is evil. She is the devil. She has somebody file her horns down on the top of her head while they're doing her hair. She is evil. All right, I have to admit, I got it for free. I downloaded it on my PlayStation 4. Now I'm kind of wishing I hadn't.
What did you do?
The game The Sims 4 has now added not only the pronouns they and them, if you want to describe your character as such, but you can also add on chest binders and sex change mastectomy scars onto your character if you want.
Come on! Oh my god. Oh my god.
And then please keep in mind that this game is, even though they claim it's only for teenagers and above,
oh, bull crap.
there are kids that play this game. Yeah, so you can have a character.
That is absolutely stupid.
with scars under their breasts. We're not like talking about an aging starlet from Hollywood who decided to get her breasts reduced. We're
Right.
talking about people who have had it done so they could transition.
Absolute crap.
So I would say dumbass, dumbass,
Yes.
and dumbass so far.
Absolutely.
Finally, now this one I might get some pushback, some blowback from you. I'm going a little extreme here, but I'm looking at this from a business point of view. So let me ask you this. Let me start off with a comparison. How would you feel if you went into a supermarket and you wanted to buy a can of corn? And you had the one can of corn that was $1, but you had another can of corn because it was produced from a black-owned farm was only 50 cents. What are you going to do? You're going to buy the...
I'm going to buy the cheapest version. You always go for the sale.
I agree. It's called marketing. It's called basic business principles. But is it racist? Because AMC theaters this month, only for 4 black movies, are cutting ticket prices down to $5. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Till, Devotion, and The Woman King. My question is,
are they doing it in conjunction with Black History Month?
Well, of course they are. But what about movies produced by Asian Americans or Caucasian filmmakers who would like to get a bigger audience? Yes. Who would like to get that kind of a push or that kind of a bump by getting the prices reduced on their products in order to get them out to a larger audience.
If you're going to do it for one group, you need to do it for another group.
That's what I'm saying. That's not what's happening right now. And that's my problem with this entire month of February, is that we see too much of this. You are basically engaging in racism, in my opinion, because you are promoting certain products based on race instead of quality and instead of availability. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, you, of course, coming from the library system, you have a different viewpoint on this stuff. I just don't like it because you are not giving everybody equal access.
You need to do it for other groups.
Why do you have to cut the prices
group, do it for other minority groups?
Why can't you do it for everybody? That's my question.
That too. Obviously, movies are too damn expensive to begin with.
I don't have a problem with promoting the movies. Okay? That's fine. If you want to do that, I still have a problem with it, but it's not as egregious to me as actually making the product cheaper as opposed to similar products from other groups. Going back to my original construct, the $1 can of corn versus the 50-cent can of corn. Let's assume that they were both produced at the same price. Let's assume that the margin of profit is the same. But they push the other one at a lower price to push that particular producer, that particular farmer, that particular manufacturer. There is something insidious here. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair market. I don't think it's right. And I'm sorry. That's the way I feel about it. Fair market means fair market. Everybody has an equal playing field. I could give two rats' ass about Steven Spielberg and the Fabelmans. But if I walk up to a ticket counter and they say, well, you can see Black Panther for $5, you got to pay 12 to go see the Fabelmans. If all things were equal, I'm going to see Black Panther.
Right, because you're going to save your money.
That's what I don't like. And again,
if you're
I
going to
could
do
give
it
two
for
shits
one
about the
group,
Fabelmans.
you need to do it for another group.
I don't think you should be giving discounts for any group, like you said, unless you're giving them for all groups. And until we get over this, and until we get past this, you're going to have a divided culture, a divided country that's just going to get angrier and angrier and more pissed off because all you do is drive a wedge between us every chance you can. And this is just another example of it. Sorry. You might not agree with me.
I see your point.
I think this is a dumbass move by AMC.
It's not their best move, no. If it's just singling this particular group out and nobody else, shame on them. They have to do it for everybody.
And again, coming from where you come from, it would be one thing if you put up a display, right, or end caps promoting Black History Month books. That's not the same thing, because all books in your library, and we've talked about this, and you've been an advocate for free speech, and all groups should be allowed to promote their books in a public library. That's different.
Yeah, because
that's different. I could still walk down the aisle
to go find what you want.
And it doesn't cost me anything. It doesn't make anything different. I'm not paying more. I'm not wasting more of my time. This is economics. This is people's money we're talking about, where you're saying we're cutting the cost
to promote this particular.
I don't like that. Big difference to me. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see the rest of the year with Asian American History Month, Latinx History Month, and everything else, if movies are going to get discounted.
Or LGBTQ.
Yep.
We'll see. And again, I just want a fair playing field for everybody. Not just certain fringe groups.
But everybody. When you make it fair, then for everybody, then you get rid of
these kind of discussions, these kind of conversations. You don't have to deal with the maestro ranting and raving every week and putting you in the dumbasses of the week.
There you go.
All right, kids. Thanks for hanging out for an extra segment with us. He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Go watch an episode of Laverne and Shirley. Shamil, Shamazel, Haas and Pfaff Incorporated. Discover the wonders of Lenny and Squiggy.
The Big Ragu.
Yep. Go listen to some Yardbirds. Go listen to some Atlanta Rhythm Section, especially. Pay tribute to those who have left us. And for sure, fight against those who want to divide us.
Harumph.
Of course, we'll be back next week with our sports edition every Thursday morning and another weekend edition next Saturday morning. And we are 2 weeks away from our first concert review.
That's right.
Of 2023. Alter Bridge and Mammoth WVH. So, Lots of good stuff on the horizon. Take care.
And you should be over your hangover by now.
We'll talk to you next week, kids. Say goodnight, Dave.
Good night, Dave.